I just saw Nobody Wants This on Netflix. I don't think this is... Okay, I'll do my best. And it was always so interesting to me. I saw it when the first season released. You know, it was on it had that Netflix little like top 10 banner, and then I saw it a few weeks ago when they released the second season. And every time I looked at it and I was like, who cares? Who cares? I mean, maybe you love Adam Brody, you just want to see fluff. You want to see fluff, and that's fair. I get that. But in my at least experience, I'm like, then just rewatch Bridgerton. But whatever, people liked it, so I thought I would give it a try and see if I liked it, and I didn't. I guess I am just doing this because I am not in school anymore, but I used to do a lot of presentations. I mean, we all did it for maybe either 12 or 16 years, and at the end of it, what am I good for if not this? So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Firstly, I want to set the parameters of my argument, because really, I want to compare the love story in this show to what I consider is a much better love story, that of Fleabag, because both of these stories are about brash, outspoken women who fall in love with religious leaders who are either culturally or like through the laws of their religion forbidden from dating them. I kind of recognize that it's not really fair to compare these shows because one of them is like a famously sponsored up the ass Netflix original. Not that Netflix originals can't be good, I did just see Frankenstein. And one is like one of the greatest seasons of TV that was released in the last 10 years. Comparing them is like, I try to be a good person. Like when the ASPCA cornered me outside of a Trader Joe's, I did agree to give them $25 a month and then think, I'm probably gonna cancel this in a month. But I haven't yet because I've been lazy, so you're welcome, animals. If you wanna compare me to someone like Malala, it's just not gonna work. I'm gonna come up short every time. Really, I just wanna talk about the romance, because that's the whole appeal of this show, right? I wanna argue that Fleabag, which first of all had less time as a show, devoted less time to the romance, actually told a better and more engaging love story than Nobody Wants This could do in 2 seasons. Like, I don't know how Fleabag feels like more of a slow burn, even though the entire runtime of the season is only like 3 hours, but I'm gonna try to get to the bottom of it. Firstly, Nobody Wants This feels like the lowest stakes of any show I've ever seen in my life other than like a sitcom. And not to mention, it's set in LA. It's like a very... These are the people that I already spent years of my life getting coffees for, so they're already on my shit list. And maybe I have like a cold dead heart, but it just feels like between these two characters who's like the central drama of the show is like whether or not they can find out a way to be together. Like, what's the big deal? And maybe I'm a heathen, and clearly I don't know what it's like to be a rabbi. I don't know what it's like to be in a very tight-knit religious community that doesn't really approve of outsiders. And like, yes, I know that in real life, I'm sure this is a very like prescient problem that really is a source of drama in a lot of real people's lives. Like, are they gonna date outside of their religion? I get that. But it's also like a non-dramatic human problem. Like, I had a hard time deciding what major to major in college, but it's not like people care enough about that to make a show about it. And I say all of this knowing through my extensive Wikipedia research that this was actually based off of a real couple. But frankly, if I may get a little nitpicky, which is what I do, not for a living because no one pays me, but recreationally. When you meet Adam Brody's character and Kristen Bell's character, these are two self-actualized, successful people. They are very well off. Probably most importantly, they're fine. Frankly, the whole thing kind of reminds me of an engagement speech where a couple says, oh, this is how we met, we had stuff to overcome, but then it goes on for 2 seasons. And no one mentions like, oh, I was mad that he was a furry. I'm sorry, furries. I can't think of a better example. Y'all are fine, I think. From me to them, not that they care. I hope they stay together as people, but it's hard for me to be connected with characters that are like doing well. Maybe that's like more telling about me than them. But I feel like one of the great things about storytelling is that you get to see your flaws and your insecurities mapped out on a character and have them deal with it in a safe way. Even in New Girl, the stakes are the lowest they've ever been because it's just a show about people hanging out, but they are insecure and they're like very flawed human beings, and it really endears you to them. And frankly, I feel like if this couple wanted to air all their dirty laundry, it would have been fun, and it would have led to a lot more variety think pieces about the writing and a lot less about the product placement. One of the reasons that I think Fleabag works so well is that she is fucked up. She is a very magnetic person who, throughout the course of at least season 2, is trying to make better choices and be a better person, but she is also very flawed. Like, there is a reason that scene in the confessional is so powerful. It's because the scene starts out with her expressing her deep, deep fear about her unworthiness as a human being. And it's a realistic way for someone to engage with religion as someone who doesn't believe in God. She says, I think this is bullshit. I don't agree with your rules. I don't know why they exist, but I desperately want someone to tell me what to do, how to exist, how to be a good person, because this whole season is about her trying her best. And the scary thing about trying your best is that you can fail. And I don't know how much of this is true of Phoebe Waller-Bridge. You know, I don't think she has actually had an affair with a priest, but the fear is there, and it is something that all of us can access. I think that that vulnerability is what makes his command to her so powerful, because she wants to be told what to do, and in that moment, he's there to tell her. And frankly, I think that that's one of the most powerful parts of this dynamic. Yes, she is a complete person, but she does need Andrew Scott's character. And at the same time, he kind of needs her in this weird way. He is also shown to be lonely and so sad, and also kind of an alcoholic. What makes him such a good fit for her is that he admits that he's been lost too. And whatever she's going through right now, he is on the other side of it, telling her that he has found his purpose and he is okay, and that can happen to her too. He sees through her like jokey, overly sarcastic exterior, and after their connection, even though, spoilers, they don't end up together, she is able to leave us, the camera, her defense mechanism behind. But with Nobody Wants This, I feel like if you're writing yourself and you're like, bitch, I'm a strong, independent woman. I've read Girl Wash Your Face. I've got this shit figured out. I don't need a stupid man. Like, it's great when that person meets someone who they love. And that's not to say I don't love strong female characters, but if the entire story is about finding someone who you didn't really need to begin with, why is that a show? And listen, I'm not Malala. I don't have segues for all of my points, so I'm just gonna move on to my next complaint, which is that Adam Brody's character is boring. Other than that it's assumed that I have a crush on him because I used to watch The OC, which I didn't because I was too busy watching Doctor Who. It just felt like this is a character for women who used to have a crush on him but are now in their 30s and would prefer to see him fall in love with an age-appropriate woman. And you know, more power to them. Maybe these are the people who are watching this show and loving it so much. But I do think that because Adam Brody used to be this kind of teeny bopper heartthrob, and he hasn't really had a long history of playing against type, like someone like Robert Pattinson, he still kind of brings the baggage of being a teen heartthrob into this show. Which means that, at least for me, his purpose is to be essentially that, but grown up. Which again, is fine, but for me it didn't really foster an understanding of this character that really took into account his personhood. It was kind of like, here he is, being hot here now. And another thing about these two relationships is that in Fleabag, the fact that he is a priest does so much for like how much of a crush that both her and all of us have on him. For her, it's just simply never a big deal that he's a rabbi. She comes in with these preconceived notions, but once she realizes who he is, she's like, oh, so you're a cool rabbi. And that's kind of the end of her conflictedness. And in Fleabag, I feel like what makes their dynamic so interesting is they do so much more playing with the baggage of him being a religious figure. And listen, is there a comparable amount of baggage from being a rabbi to being a priest? Obviously not. Because of the Spanish Inquisition and about 1,000 years of history of the Catholic Church being crazy. I really don't want to, like, be saying shit that I don't know anything about, but I do just have to say that any religion that's been around for 2,000 years, they're gonna have some weird rules and some weird opinions that you just have to go digging for. And I feel like there's something to be said about a non-religious person dealing with those for the first time. And I get that it's problematic for one character to have moral authority over another character, but might I add that it's also effective. Because some bitches like being ordered around. Obviously, not all the time because of feminism, but sometimes. Like, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not bitches, but there are some scenes in this show that are just loaded with insane tension because they play with that dynamic. And, you know, no shade to Adam Brody. I'm sorry, Adam Brody, but Andrew Scott is just simply like an A-tier actor. And it's not like he's not hot. I mean, I was on Tumblr in 2013. I know that he can have a fan base, but he's not someone that is so heartthrob coded. And I feel like that lets you interact with the priest character without any preconceived notions of him. Obviously, you're supposed to be charmed by the priest, but I think that because he's operating without all this baggage, being charmed by him feels like more of your idea. Adam Brody, I think, is bringing his existing fans to this show, but I don't think that the character is so effective that he's gonna, like, be on Graham Norton talking about how many people are in love with him. And this show, like, I think it's fine on its own, it's witty and stuff. And there's also so much I'm not getting into, specifically about Kristen Bell's character, because I feel like I'm not really the person to get into it, but there definitely is something to be said about, like, how witty and cool and, like, different from all the other girls that he knows she is. Out of all the boring brunette Jewish women who are being thrown at him, he wants the skinny blonde girl. Nothing we've ever seen before in media, no? So all that being aside, I will close by just saying the show is decently enjoyable, but I think it is more effective for people who have forgotten what it's like to see a better love story on screen. Because, and here's my closer, nobody wants this when they could have had the hot priest. Really, I'm just gonna close out by saying, I'm a hater. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you don't mind. If you did happen to enjoy this video, I would appreciate a like or a subscribe if you would. And I'll see you next time. Bye!